this current situation that we are all facing, in hope that the rental can be tied down to a gross turnover basis or on a percentage basis. That's one factor that you can consider. I'm sure most landlords would rather consider this proposal than to lose you as a tenant. Now, secondly, with your suppliers, I think it's high time now also for you to negotiate terms of credit. You would want a longer period to repay the debt so that you can keep the business afloat. This is to ease your cash flow problems, like most of us will be encountering in the next few months at the very least. And of course, there is also the issue of funding, which Dato Sri Raymond Liu has covered extensively, I think very, very wide. I'm not sure whether there's anything more for Jeffrey Ng to add on, but one thing of interest to me as a practicing lawyer is the factoring facility, which Dato Sri Raymond Liu mentioned, where you can assign your invoices to the banks to raise funds. Now, this is a very interesting area because it has led to a lot of legal disputes previously, but it is something I think all of you can consider. But you must keep your accounts and documents in order. There must be proper purchase order, there must be proper delivery orders, and then proper credit control insofar as the amount that are owing. So with all this documentation, you can actually approach banks or factoring houses, which they will gladly accept your invoices as security for some loans to be given to you. This is one facility I think a lot of traders should consider. In moments like this, I think it's quite handy as well, because you may not have assets, physical assets that are available to be pledged further or charged to the bankers, but your invoices can come in very handy and useful. And I think the other point that I would like to touch upon is, yes, there is this issue of restructuring as well, which Dato Sri Raymond Liu has mentioned again. Don't despair. If you have tight cash flow problems, if you have difficulty, there are many ways, even for incorporated companies like Sdn Bhd or even sole proprietorship or unincorporated business, there are provisions for restructuring. All you need to do is just get it organized, get the creditors in, make some proposals. I'm sure everybody would want to keep each and every one afloat so that business can go on. All we need is just some time. If we can tide over a period of 6 to 9 months, then you should be able to survive. No? So meanwhile, let's not forget also the government has extended the time frame to pay debts in respect of Sdn Bhd from April to 31st of December this year. If there's any statutory notice that's been issued by any creditor, instead of the usual 21 days, the debtor has 6 months to pay up before winding up proceedings can be commenced. So these are things that you can all take advantage of if you are in this position. So I think these are the few points that I can think of offhand. Do feel free to ask further questions later on at the end of the session. Thank you. Stan and Raymond, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dato Ringo. That was a great insight. In fact, it leads on from what earlier Dato Sri Raymond Liu has shared, and you have now brought in some legal elements into this factor. So from an operational and from a legal perspective, I think there are very, very clear pointers that our listeners hopefully can take into account and take it forward in their considerations. Next, of course, the man that everyone has been waiting for. I've been hearing these names